Talk Conversations, brought to you by Barista. Hello and welcome to another fantastic series of Think Talk Conversations with Barista. Once again, coming to you from the beautiful Barista outlet, the brand new Barista outlet in Nugegoda. Now, if you haven't checked it out, you certainly must. And if you're living in the vicinity of Nugegoda, this is a place that you should definitely come by, chill, enjoy with your friends, and of course, as always, have some fantastic coffee. Think Talk Conversations, we speak to young, inspiring leaders in their respective industries, and we speak to them about the sacrifices. We speak to them about the think tall mindset that they have to adapt in order for them to come out successful. The trials before the triumphs is exactly what Think Talk Conversations is all about with Barista. Today, we have another very inspiring young leader who's been in the industry for a very long time, who has a certain passion for building brands, and she's definitely been a part of a fair amount of brands, and she's also been instrumental in building them up to a certain level. It's Kaushala Amarasekara on the show, Head of Marketing and Communications of Hutch Sri Lanka. Kaushala, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Shaq, for that brilliant introduction. And actually, the honor is mine to be sitting beside you because you've been a radio personality who we've been admiring for years and years and a pioneer in English radio.
So would you like to interview me then? But again, thank you so much for coming by. And so let's talk about you per se. Brands is your passion, right?
Exactly.
It's always
yes,
been
it is.
there.
Yes.
What's a specific event or a realization that actually inspired you to pursue a career in branding?
Yes, so definitely brands is my passion. And even when I hear the word brand, it kind of excites me. And how I started my career in branding and marketing was purely by accident.
Oh.
Yes. So when I was a kid, I'll start off how I started my career in branding. Of course, I wanted to, my parents always wanted me to probably be a doctor. I was a bit of a nerd in school, and so marketing and business management strategy was never in my consideration. So as soon as I finished my advanced level, I just couldn't stay at home. I just couldn't slack. So I started off doing my studies in accounting.
Oh.
Yes, and then this whole management degree at a particular institute caught my eye, and I thought marketing was about maybe you go door to door and do your sales. So that's the knowledge I had.
Right.
And when I started off my studies and I continued with it, and then I got my first job as a trainee, a management trainee at one of the leading conglomerates in Sri Lanka. And that was not much into branding. I didn't find that quite interesting and challenging enough.
Right.
So I left after about 10 months.
Okay.
And then I got into Telco.
Right.
And when I went for the interview, that was nothing to do with branding. The position they advertised was also for a management trainee, but the CEO who interviewed me thought that, after the interview, that I could be suitable more in brand management.
Okay.
So that's how I got myself into brand management, and then the rest is history.
Right, okay. So obviously it's by accident, you would say?
Yes.
So whilst getting into branding at that point, clearly you didn't know much about branding at that point, did you?
No,
But
I
there
did
must
not.
have been a fair amount, especially getting into a telco.
Yes.
Looking at building a brand as far as a telco is concerned is
Yes.
not an easy feat.
Definitely. Especially, I think telco is one of those industries that's highly dynamic.
Right.
It's like you can't have a strategy for 5 years or for 3 years even. I think the strategy should be changing on a 24-hour basis. And once you get yourself into telco, it's very difficult to get out of it. I was out of the industry for about 6 years. I was in other industries, but I got myself back into telco because that excitement and the fact that things change so much and the interesting things that you can do in the field, and also you're always with the consumer. Right. And I think telco is probably an industry which people did not even consider a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then with the whole digitalization, processors and all that, telco just keeps me going.
Are you a resilient person?
I would say yes, definitely. I think I have been molded into becoming a resilient person. I wouldn't have introduced myself, I would have known the fact that I was a resilient person probably before I got myself into the whole career.
Is there a childhood memory that you can actually share with us that you believe actually laid the foundation for you to be a resilient person?
Yes, Shak, actually, my childhood, this is something which I have not talked about a lot. Even at that time, my friends also didn't know. My childhood was not a bed of roses.
Right.
Because I had a lot of challenges that I went through. My mother was a single mom.
Right.
So she raised me and my brother by herself. And there are a lot of instances that we went through a lot of hardships. Both financially and even for me, I think a lot of opportunities in terms of, say, in school. Say, I want to stay after school, I want to be a part of Shakespeare drama or whatnot, but my mother couldn't come to pick me up, or I couldn't stay late. And there were times that I used to go for certain classes, say if it's elocution or music, but I used to walk for 5 kilometers to 4 kilometers just to save that 5 rupees.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had a lot of financial challenges. And of course, so all that kind of built in this whole fear of that I need to be financially independent and I don't want to let myself be in a situation like that. I think that kind of instilled in me some sort of a passion. And I remember telling my mother when I was in my teens, Amma, I'm going to earn a salary of 20,000. And I'm going to show you that what it can do, right. Sort of a challenge. And my mother was also a character who was never satisfied. So whenever, say, I am second in class, she would always ask me, I would be very happy, run up to her, show her the report and say, good, look, my grades are good. But she would be like, but you're not first.
Right.
So that was very stressful. But it kind of kept me going and I always wanted to prove myself over and over, that I could do better. So that sort of an environment and a background kind of has instilled in me that drive and a passion to always be successful. So when I look back, I'm not very I have had hours where I would cry inside the toilet, in front of the toilet mirror, because I didn't like what I was going through. It was a lot of hardships. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons.
So that clearly made you a resilient person.
Definitely.
Because of the challenges in your childhood, and that's been carrying forward to every stage of your career so far.
That's right. So I think every challenge that I face today, I would always look back, and I think it happens automatically as well in my head. I don't want to go back to a situation where I felt helpless, where I couldn't do anything about it. So it's this whole success, I want to make sure that I do good to the people, that I'm empathetic towards everyone. All of it's my childhood, I think, that has framed me into this person I am today.
So during challenging times, even if we take a look at your childhood story that you just narrated for us, or even if you look at certain different stages in your career, during your challenging times, what strategies or practices would you use to maintain your motivation? Would you use to push yourself to keep going?
Yes.
Can you share a specific example of a difficult period and how you actually stayed on track?
Okay, so in my career specifically, I think I follow a certain value system that I believe in. Of course, I believe in a lot of hard work, and that's something which I would want to preach to the young generation, because if you don't have at least a hard work during your initial phase of your career, things don't come easily to you. So you've got to put in your hours, you've got to sweat out, you've got to really, really be focused. And of course, now I believe in smart working, because of my 2 kids that I have, and also I can't really dedicate long hours to work, and also there's of course a lot of hard work, and also the networking structure that you have. I believe that especially women have these superpowers, which is being empathetic and intuitive. So once you have that, you find, I don't believe in fighting in an organization with my colleagues. If I want to get something done, I would talk to them, I would understand the situation, and I use these qualities that I have. to overcome certain challenges. And also the fact that never be stuck in your comfort zone. You should always look out of your comfort zone so that you step out and you can do something great. So those are the values, that's the values that I believe in, and you should not really be biased on personal favors. It's your hard work, it's what you do and how you do your work that will actually make a change in life.
So this is like a personal mantra that you obviously
Exactly.
follow?
I follow that, yes.
Right.
And I think when I look back, it has always been, that's my personality. I think, so those are the strengths that I realize, that these are the strengths that are there in my personality, so I will capitalize on that.
How has it influenced your mindset going forward? I mean, not necessarily using this mantra only at work, but even in your personal life. How has it influenced?
Yes, I think it has influenced a lot because these values that I believe in, always that I stick by them, and I wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who I am not, you know. I believe in being kind, I believe in being nice to the people, because at the end of the day, it's the relationships that you make in your workplace that really matter.
Right.
And that will take you a long way. And that will bring you a lot of opportunities as well, be it within work or outside work.
Okay.
So that's what I...
All right, so now reflecting on a situation where you have to think tall, reflecting on a situation where you have to think out of the box, a major setback in your career. Can you walk us through how you navigated this difficult period and you turned this into a stepping stone for success?
Yes, so Shak, in the journey of marketing and branding, there are a lot of challenges that we face on a daily basis, be it a mega brand launch or be it a certain product, a communication campaign that we need to go, and from the time itself or the conceptualization and getting things together, it's a lot of hard work. What I think, how I look at those things, I mean, I've personally handled about 5 mega launches or relaunches in Sri Lanka for certain brands that are known brands. And you work with various types of people, right? And that's a good thing. I think in marketing, you meet so many agencies, you meet production houses, you meet models, you meet creators, you meet influencers, so many other people. So what I think I have used in terms of overcoming these challenges is the fact that there's strong focus, and you focus on your goal, on getting it delivered and what change it could do to people around you or to the consumers or to the company. So when you have that in mind, it's so easy for you to have your purpose and have your drive and overcome that. So that's, I think, one of the key things that I use. So most of I would say a success factor that people still talk about certain launches or projects that I have handled. And when you look back, you can see the change that you've done to the society or to the company or how people see that. And that kind of keeps me going because that's my passion and that makes me happy to see it. So
interesting. Can you pinpoint maybe where you have had to take a risk, a career decision that you have to take a risk?
Yeah.
That it was 50-50.
Yeah.
But it paid off at the end of the day. Can you
Yes.
actually recall a moment like that?
Yes, I think I can. That's actually when I was in a certain position in my life. I think I was a deputy general manager in a particular company, and there came an opportunity where I actually had to step down in terms of designation.
Oh.
And it's not like I had
Were you
to
forced
take
to
it.
step down?
I wasn't forced to. It
Right.
was a different company, so it was clearly another opportunity. It's to go back to the telco.
Right.
Right. So it was like a very bold decision, and it was a big risk, I would say. I mean, I don't know whether if I was in certain, like if you're right, like a lot of people might say, if you're in your right senses, why would you step back when you actually had a choice? But I did that because at that time I wanted to kind of have kids, build my own family, and that sort of decision that would make me slightly slow down. And I also took a decision that I was holding a certain position at the Marketing Institute. And I even took a decision to step down. So that's because the focus was on a different matter. And I think I took the right decision. I have no regrets that time. So then of course COVID hit and then things changed. But that's, I think, one of the riskiest things. But it was for a purpose. It was for a different task altogether, which I'm quite happy about.
So how did it pay off though? I mean, in terms of the decision that you decided to step down from a designation to a maybe a step down designation.
Yes.
How has it paid off?
Of course, I was very clear in terms of the package. It would still be. So
I get paid the same. I will step down.
But it was in a different company. It was a different opportunity, I would say. And I think I was able to, and that particular company actually had 6 months maternity leave, which has really helped me because I have 2 daughters who are like 1 year apart. So that particular decision really helped me to be with them and spend more time with them.
I mean, that brings us to the next question. I mean, you're a working mother with 2 young kids, with a challenging career, with a determination in life that you need to succeed every step that you take.
Yes.
How difficult is it for you to obviously balance work and family?
Shaq, to be really honest, it's extremely difficult. I wouldn't want to sugarcoat it. And I wish I knew this before. And I always tell my husband also, you know, we never got a manual when we got the kids, you know. So my kids are 2 years and 3 years, 2 beautiful girls.
Hands full.
Yes, definitely. So it's, I think women have this whole gene of being guilty, you know, being guilty of the fact that you miss out. So you're missing at least a good 9 to 10 hours of their life. So I strongly believe that when I'm at work, I concentrate and I'm fully into work. But when I go home, be it at 5 o'clock, I don't take meetings late. I make sure that I have my support system to support me in this journey. That would be my mother, and of course there's a nanny, and when she goes home, I'm more stressed out. So I cut off. So I switch off and on from the work mode. When I'm at work, it's complete work mode. When I go back home, I completely switch off from the work mode, and I give my 100% to the kids, to be with them, play with them. It's like I have to be an elephant, I have to be a dog, I'll have to be a pony, whatever it takes. So that's one of the mechanisms that we use. But that sense of guiltiness, like you're missing out the good part or the fun with them, is constantly there. And that guilt and that pressure is always on.
Comparing you growing up with your mother, and of course was a single parent. And was there a guilt factor at that point for you when your mother wasn't around for you? Is that something that you do not want to do that for your kids? Is that why you're making that extra effort?
Extra effort? So I think my mom was a housewife till I think my parents got separated. And then she was a teacher at an international school. So she was always there, like when I get home after school. Thank you so much. When I get home after school, she had been around. So that is not one of the factors, but I think it's just the fact that I see that there are certain ladies who take the option of, they have no option, they have no support system. So it's nothing wrong, they step down from their careers, which is perfectly fine. I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do at that particular time. So that's all right, but I don't think that's one of the factors that I constantly, but I think it's a pressure around as well that, you know, people would, I have that feeling of society.
Society is asking you, what are you doing at work when you have 2 kids at home?
Exactly.
How do you counter that?
It's very hard, but then your success stories and what they see out there, what you do, kind of makes my family and my kids, I strongly believe that one day my kids will be proud of me. And that's the drive that I have right now, that I want to make them feel proud, you know, that mommy is doing this. So that's how I manage and cope with that.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self starting out in the industry an advice, what would it be?
So honestly, when I started off my career, I did not have anyone who advised me that the workplace or an organization is like this. it was like I didn't have anyone in my family. I remember I didn't even have anyone to put in my CV. So I put my class teacher's name.
Right.
Right?
Did
So
you ask her first?
I did. She was happy about
Right.
it. And I think I had her as my referee for a couple of years as well.
Right.
Yeah, so my knowledge in the corporate world was minimum. So if I could go back and give that advice. So my passion is also because I want to really give this whole motivation and a purpose for those young career builders, and especially the ladies out there. So the advice, or if I want to, sorry, your question was if I would want to change.
No, if you go back to your younger self and
Yeah.
then give your younger self an advice.
Advice,
You know what, obviously somebody hopefully could have given you at that point.
Yes.
What would you have told you?
I think it would have been like, it will be based on the value system that I follow at the moment, which I have built on my own. It would be the fact that, you know, you need to have your focus. Nothing comes easy, because I hate when people believe in this whole fast track system.
Right.
And believing in personal favors, nepotism and all of that, something which I don't believe in. So I strongly believe the advice would be the fact that keep your focus, be hardworking, and also maybe you should be a little more, like, I think I was an introvert. I think my
Right.
personality changed, and maybe just go out there, seize the opportunities that comes your way.
Right.
Never give up, and be strong with your decision. And I know that certain things that happen in the corporate life or your organization can bring you down, but just keep going, because I know that one day you will win if you have your base right.
Right. Kaushala, in your opinion, what skill or quality is crucial for young leaders to cultivate in order for them to survive and progress in the competitive environment? I mean, there is no easy job out there.
Of
It's
course.
always competitive. There's always so many different players in the game, which is also good.
Yes.
What would, in your opinion, be young leaders should actually cultivate skill or quality to thrive in this competitive environment?
I think the main quality that a leader should have is the fact that you should have that empathy towards people. That's
Right.
something which I strongly believe in. And the overall, you have to have a view of what's happening, the things around you, with like a helicopter view. You know, you shouldn't be narrowed down to what you do, but you should have an understanding of what's going on in
360
the
degrees.
360-degree understanding. So that's key, because otherwise you'll be narrowed down and the decisions that you take will be very, very limited. And the fact that you should be agile. Whatever the challenges that life throws you or that comes by way in your work, in your career, to in business, you should be able to take decisions that could be changed, you know, that could change the entire life. Because, so, like COVID, right? Would anyone have had COVID in their business plan?
That's true.
And would they have ever predicted that, even say maybe a year? They had their business risk continuity plans to whatnot,
Right.
but that would have been for a natural disaster or some sort of a fire, but not a situation like that. So that being agile and being able to change to the situations that comes your way is one of the qualities that should be instilled.
Now, can you share a moment, like you said, you've been with different industries. Can you share a moment where you have, you know, on the verge of giving up? It could be a personal issue that it was affecting your career,
Yes.
or it could be a career issue that was actually, that was too much for you to handle.
Yes.
Where you were just on the brink of just signing a resignation letter and say, listen, that's it, I can't do this anymore. And where did you find that inner strength to say, no, let's just give it one final push and see where it goes?
I think there had been situations like that where you can't take a situation, it's just too much. I think what kept me
Let us
going,
know one of those situations where you
yeah,
were.
I think it's maybe it's like I can't say that I've had any like bad bosses or such, but then it's just too stressful for you. Even now as we speak, I have certain situations where I'm thinking, you know, okay, should I be having a career break because of the kids? But I think it's always that fear of being financially independent. You know, can I put food on the table? Like, where probably, you know what, give a good life for my mom, probably those sort of things. And it's that fear that
Right.
I've always had, that I don't want to fail in life, is what has kind of kept me going. So the moment you have that feeling where you want to give up, but if you do that, what will happen to the rest of the people around you? And then of course the fact that people, what will also your friends, they believe in you. Say, I want to be an inspiration, I want to be seen as an inspiration to those around me. And I believe in that, and also that I'm working for a purpose, that I want to kind of instill that courage in women, and also the fact that they can be contributors to Sri Lanka's economy. Those sort of things kind of drives me, and I don't want to fail. So it's a fear of failure that keeps me going constantly.
You've had a tough life, haven't you?
I think I have, yeah. But I think a lot of people do not know that, because what you put out there, and it's pretty much like, it's smiles that I can bring to the table.
That's what we want to do on the series. I mean, there's everybody out there. What we see, what we spoke about earlier on, is the fact that we see the finished product.
Yes, yes.
And all of us, unfortunately, keep comparing ourselves to where we are in life with somebody with a finished product, which is not the right thing to do.
Which is not the case, because I think even social media also has a big role to play in this. Like, I think the tendency, I think we're wired to see all the happy moments.
Right.
And I always say this because a lot of people do not know the journey that you have had. They don't realize what lot of effort that you have put to come to this certain position. They only look at the destination.
Right.
But I think once you look at the journey, it's beautiful, and it gives a lot of positive vibes that anyone can do that.
And the growth.
Absolutely.
And the growth, because when you
Yes.
look back at, for example, when you look back at your journey,
Yes.
from where you were,
Yes.
and the times that you obviously had to, like you said, cry in front of the mirror,
Yes.
right, to where you are right now.
Yes.
Every step that you've taken is a learning process to grow to the next step.
Absolutely, Shaq. And I think one of the moments that I forgot to mention was, last year I was handling this award ceremony called Effies.
Right.
And then my kids were, of course, very small. They were like 1.5 and 2.5. And with a job change at the same time. So it was extremely tough. And there were times that I really wanted to step down, and I wanted to cry, and I just thought, I just cannot do it. But there were people who would encourage you as well, who would, who'd realize, you're going through something, and there are people in your support system. That's what I always say, you have to believe in the friendships, the networking, and then to be that person that people like to talk to or like support you throughout this journey. So they have kind of motivated and helped me up there.
It's wonderful. I mean, Kaushala, we're almost at the end of this fantastic chat, Think Talk Conversations. I'm sure our viewers obviously got to know more about Kaushala than they actually do see.
Yes.
Right? Which is what we want to achieve with the Think Talk Conversations, situations where you had to think tall, situations that all of us have been in challenging positions, and all of us have been in positions where we need to think out of the box to get out of it. There are other ladies out there who are in situations that you have been. Finally, before we say goodbye, what would you like to basically mention to them who are, stuck in a situation, stuck in positions, who do not have a support system, who might be pushed to give up their career because they have no one to take care of the kids? What would you tell them?
So honestly, what I would want to tell them is that there is no right or wrong path. It's up to you. It's your decision. If you've taken a decision to step down from your career path, and you're at home, I think you should be proud about that, because that's a very hard role, and it's a big decision that they have taken.
Tougher than a corporate job.
It's tougher than a corporate job, because I would go crazy. The truth is, I would go crazy if I'm at home 24 hours with them. So you have to give respect to whatever their choices are in life. But if you have thought otherwise, just hold your head strong, be perseverant, and one day I know there'll be a lot of people who will look up to you. So keep going. And what I want to say is that nothing comes easy. So I think that's what's beautiful. That's what makes life challenging. And I think I'm a person who thrives on stressful situations. if there's no stress, I think people don't want me, or is there something wrong? That's
Right.
sort of a mentality that I have. I have. So keep going, and all the best.
Kaushala, thank you so much for being a part
you so
of the
much.
show. It
Thank
has
you so
been
much,
an
Shaq.
absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed yourself on the show.
Of course.
And
Now I can go back to my coffee.
yeah, of course you can. So there you have it,
Thank you.
another inspiring leader. That's what we do right here on Think Talk Conversations with Barista. We've got so many fantastic leaders that in different industries who obviously thought tall, had a think tall mindset to come out successful. We've got more coming up right here with Think Talk Conversations. We'll see you soon.